Hey folks, it's your pal Mike Shea from SlyFlourish.com. Today we're going to be talking about making D&D tokens that represent both characters and monsters. These tokens take about 30 seconds to make, cost about 30 cents, and they look awesome.
In order to make these tokens, you need the following things, and all of the links for these things are available in the show notes below. So the first thing you need is a 1-inch hole punch. You can use this. There are a couple different varieties of this. You don't have to get this exact model, but you want something that can easily fit over a piece of paper and punch out a single 1-inch disc. You also need these. These are 1-inch epoxy stickers. You can pick these up on Amazon for about $7. The 1-inch hole punch is also about $6 or $7. You'll also want these 1-inch magnets. The funny thing about these is they review very poorly on Amazon, but the reason they review poorly is actually a benefit to us, which is that they're not particularly sticky. They won't flip over, they won't stick to each other, you won't have them kind of bounce together and then get stuck. It'll work just fine with the magnet. And because it's also adhesive on one side, this is very important. You want one that's adhesive on one side. It means that it's really easy to put these tokens together. And if you want, you can use some paste. And I'll show in a minute how to make double-sided tokens if you want to have fewer tokens to carry around. In order to start, you'll want to have this sheet. The link for this sheet is in the show notes below and has all the tokens you need for this set of universal monster tokens. So we're going to start with this. The first thing you need to do is cut close to the token, but not too close. There's a bit of an art in this. You want it close enough that your 1-inch hole punch can punch a nice smooth circle. But if you cut too closely to the token itself, you're not going to have enough white space around it when you actually clip it. So we're going to clip close, but not too close. These little hooded guys, for example, it's pretty tricky. I'm really just shaving off the top. They actually have a little bit more white space than all of the others. So we want to be a little bit more careful with the hooded guys. So now that we've trimmed it off, we're ready to actually make a token. We'll start with our skull guys down here. So we're going to put it right in the center, make sure it's nice and centered. Bang, you want to punch with confidence. Gives you a nice smooth edge to all of these. So, get it right, bang, and then punch it hard so that they come out nice and strong. And we're gonna do this knight. We'll do the same thing. Get it right, bang, punch it out. Let's see, flip that over. And let's do one of these hooded guys. Hopefully I put enough white space around it. Oh, I did, just barely, right? So there's a hooded guy. And I think that's a good start. So I just punched out a few just as an example, but you'd want to punch all of these out and have them ready. So once they're punched out and you've got your paper tokens, now you're going to stick the epoxy stickers on here. So we're going to just pop off one of the epoxy stickers that come right off the sheet. They're really easy. And we are going to line it up with our token here. And I like to make like a cross with my fingers that makes sure that the edges are all met on all sides. And you smooth it out. There's our one. So we're going to do another one here. We're going to do the skull. Same thing, you do the cross, bang, nice and smooth, put it down so there's no bubbles. One of the nice things about these particular tokens is that they're very easy to see. So you could punch out magic cards, you can punch out artwork that you find on the net, all that sort of stuff. The hard part is it's a little harder to see that kind of artwork from far away. But these stark black and white tokens, which I got from gameicons.net, and the link for it is in the show notes below, but they're really nice and stark. You can see them easily from far off the table. If you're sitting at the end of the table, you'll see them fine. And I'm sticking the last one here on this knight. Bang, right? So there are my 4 tokens. Now I'm gonna take these magnets, right? Real easy, peel off the adhesive. You can see they're a little hard to pick up. Do the same cross maneuver that I did with the other one to make sure it's lined up nice. And now I have, with one go, no glue, a nice, heavy, but not too heavy. It's easy to pick up, right? No problem at all picking it up. No problem sliding it around. A nice token, right? Nice solid token. So there are 4 really nice tokens, right? Easy to pick up. You see that they don't really stick together very much. They will stick if you put them back to back, but very light. They're just not that magnetic, which is perfect for us. But the reviews on them, Amazon look bad. That's why they look bad. If you read the reviews, it's because they're not very sticky, but that's really beneficial to us. The magnets are $7 or $8 for 50. I usually buy a couple so that you can make about 100 tokens worth. If you buy a couple of sets. So those are the strong ones. And that's pretty much it. Now you've got your magnetic tokens. So I talked before about gluing them together, right? So in this case, we would do the same process of punching the token out,
putting the epoxy sticker on, instead of using the magnet, we would use glue and glue one side to the other, right? And that way you get a nice double-sided token. And the approach that I recommend when you're going to glue them together like that is to glue opposite numbers. So you can see that I have a number 1 for the knight, and on the other side, I have a number 6 for the skull. That way, if I start with some skulls and some knights, I can have 1, 2, and 3 skulls and 1, 2, and 3 knights. The nice thing about this, again, they work well. They're a little bit tackier on like a battle mat, and they're lighter. They're certainly lighter, which is great if you're traveling. Like this is my travel set. But if you want a nice solid set of home ones, I would recommend putting magnets on the back of all of them like I did with these. So the ones with the magnets are definitely going to be heavier than the ones that are double-sided. But the double-sided ones are much lighter. They're easier to pack and easier to carry. You only have 14 tokens to carry around instead of 28 when you're doing them double-sided. So that is very nice for your monster tokens. When I do them double-sided, this is all the monster tokens that I need in one set. It's 14 tokens for all of the monsters, including 2 boss monsters, right? I have the 2 dragons, which can also be the two crowned skulls. I have all my beasts, which are your beasts on one side and hooded figures on the other. They work really well for like artillery or archers or bandits or whatever you want to use. I have my skull knights on the other. 14 total tokens to cover all the different monsters I can come up with D&D, and it all fits in your hand. So the double-sided tokens work really well for that. Then also in the middle here, I have these adventurer tokens, right? 1 through 6 on adventure tokens. If you're playing like a one-shot game and you don't know what your characters are going to be, these tokens can work really well. I put magnets on the backs of these so they feel nice and solid as well. So 6 of these regular tokens, and then I have these guys, and it's less than 30 tokens total, right? And that really fits into an easy pile that you can throw into a Ziploc bag, throw in your DM kit, and you're ready to go. The real advantage of all of these tokens and using these general symbols instead of very specific things is that if you have these on hand, you can run any battle at any time. You don't need to go dig through all your miniatures. You don't need to go find all of the right tokens that you have. You don't have to print anything out the night before. You can just have these tokens ready and represent pretty much any battle that's going on. Now, if you want to go fancier with character tokens, you can actually use the same process and make really nice character tokens. One way to do this is to ask your players to send you pictures of their character that they find on the internet or somewhere like that. And then what you can do is print them out. And what I did is I printed them out in roughly 1 inch, crop it, shrink it down to roughly 1 inch, stick a bunch on a page, and print that out. It's the same process. So you cut along the edge, like so. And so I put that, there we go. See, nice picture of the dwarf, bang. And that gives me a nice circle, nice cutout. Same process. I put the epoxy sticker on one side, put a magnet on the other, and the result is I have a token like this, right? Very nice looking token, very professional. So now the cool thing is I can definitely tell my player characters from my monsters. There's no issue there. And people get used to seeing like their particular character on a token, and they'll know that that's them. And you'll know that's them too. Now, I'm not saying you have to get rid of all of the paper minis that you have or all of the 3D minis, all of your pre-painted plastic minis that you've got. I have a huge collection of pre-painted minis. I love them. But sometimes I need something that's a little faster, something I always have on hand, something that's ready to go, something that I can take with me to conventions. And if you're ever running like an improvised battle, it's just pretty easy to grab these and go. So that way I don't have to dig through my miniatures. I think that sometimes when we have large amounts of miniatures, it actually hinders us because we have to sort through them. We have to find the minis that we think we're going to use. A lot of times that time is wasted if the battle never actually occurs. Or we're going to force the battle to go that way because we got all of those minis. So for me, having an extra set of tokens that I can use for improvised battles makes it far easier for me to run these kinds of games. So it's a nice, inexpensive way to make some really cool looking tokens, and it will definitely help you improvise your D&D games. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, and have a great day and get out there and play some D&D.